Hey there, Dr. Ashley Oxner here with a question. Does your back ever hurt? Kind of ludicrous, I know, because virtually every person on the planet, even young people, mostly answer that question yes. However, for many Americans, millions in fact, lower back pain can be beyond just a nuisance. It can quite honestly be debilitating, affecting their quality of life, ability to enjoy life to the fullest. So today I want to uncover some of the truths about back pain and really offer some effective solutions. Because what I hear most often about this condition from folks is they say things like, you know, it happened 2 weeks ago. All I did was bent over and picked up a pencil. Or, you know, all I did was reached over here and then boom, right? So we hear this thing where they associate an event, right, the cause with the effect, instantaneous. Well, logical thinking would bring us to the conclusion typically that bending over and picking up a pencil wasn't the start of this problem. It might have been the first time you felt it significantly, but it wasn't the start. So let's really uncover some of the underlying things going on in your body, in your spine, in your back, because if you understand this, then I believe you can not only prevent it, but then correct any damage that exists and ensure the best possible outcome and quality of life that you can have. So to understand, we need to really look at this thing called your spine and your body. So I'm going to hold up a couple of vertebrae here. Keep in mind, those are completely surrounded by muscles, tendons, and ligaments and soft tissue all the way out. So the way your body and brain works is when you reach for that pencil or you pick up that toolbox or you just turn in your chair wrong and boom, the body fires off pain and muscles spasm. That is a reaction by your brain telling your body, trying to protect an area that it feels has just become vulnerable to injury. So it will spasm around it real tight, much like a splint when you put a splint around a finger you jammed or broke, or an arm that you broke. So consider that the body's trying to help you by putting that spasm around there and making you stop doing what you're doing. And then back up and say, okay, rather than take a muscle relaxer to release that spasm, I better figure out why my brain felt that my spinal joint was vulnerable to an injury with that very simple motion of picking up a pencil or just moving or twisting or reaching, right? So to understand this, I want to kind of dive deeper into the anatomy with you here and have you take a look at your screen, because one of the things that starts to happen after years of stress, whether that's poor posture, gravity, work, repetitive use, injuries, car accidents, sports, all these things, your spine will start to break down. So the disc in between gets weak, it degenerates, the spine misaligns, hips shift, and we get this completely curved and unaligned structure that's now very vulnerable, and the brain sees it as very vulnerable to injury. So I want to specifically talk about the disc, which is that cartilage in between the bones. I'm going to give you an illustration here of a little movie and show you what a disc bulge looks like, because disc bulge and disc herniation are very common in people, not normal, very common, and something that can be greatly diminished and, quite frankly, avoided if you keep your spine healthy. That's the key here, because discs don't just bulge, all right? They bulge when there's under undue stress or asymmetrical, unbalanced stressors that then cause them to become weak over time, break down, and bulge. So take a look at this video. I'm going to show you what's called a left lateral bulge. That's just where the disc swells up out of one side of the spine. So check this out. You're going to see the disc here, and as it moves into the intervertebral foramen here, in this area where that nerve comes out, you can literally see, hang on one second, let me do this. I'm going to finish this video off. So watch as it continues, it then presses into the nerve. So with my little arrow here, I'm going to point. That nerve that's become red and irritated is now being impinged by that cartilage that has become weak. It's bulged. So it's like, think of it like a jelly donut and the middle's starting to press out. Not ooze out yet, that's a herniation. But this is the idea. So we have to ask the question, well, why did that disc become so weak? Well, maybe it's because I haven't been hydrated properly. Maybe I haven't put the right motion into my spine over the years and they've decayed and weakened. Yes, that happens all the time. Maybe there's been misalignment, joint dysfunction, subluxations of those joints that have caused those discs to wear unevenly. Yes, that can happen all the time too. So many times when we get to this point, it's not necessarily too late, but you're in major pain and major symptoms. Now take a look at this. I want to show you an actual herniation. So take a look at this. This is where the middle of the disc, kind of that jelly-like substance, starts to ooze out the side where that cartilage has become so weak it just gives way, and then all of that, not all of it, but some of that jelly starts to come out and press against the nerve. So this is a much more severe issue that many times surgery is the only answer. However, if we can catch this problem, preferably before the discs even start to bulge, but by the time they bulge before they herniate, that's when you have hope. That's when we can actually correct your spine, get it strong again, get those discs some what's called imbibition and motion that's going to help keep them hydrated so that your spine can last you a long time. You can bend over and pick up your kids. You can go to the ball field with your kids. You can continue to work, take care of the things around the house, do all the things you want to do in life without this fear. Regardless of symptoms, regardless of history, I would encourage everyone to get your spine evaluated by a corrective chiropractor to make sure that we can prevent issues from coming in the future like this and or correct any existing damage that exists. So we'd be happy to be that opportunity for you, be that office for you. If you're local here, visit our website or click the link. We've got appointments you can request. Love to have the opportunity to help you out. Hope this helped you understand a little bit more about back pain and the spine and some solutions. Take care.